All right, let's talk about what's going on inside your head. You've basically got two different characters living in there. Seriously. There's this fast, impulsive hero, and then there's a slow, kind of lazy detective. And the push and pull between these two, well, that pretty much dictates every single decision you make.
Okay, let's try something real quick. Finish this phrase in your head. Bread and... I'm willing to bet the word butter just appeared, right? No effort, no thinking, it was just there. That's your brain on autopilot. Just kind of hang on to that feeling of ease for a second. Okay, now for part 2. What is 17 times 24? Whoa, feel that? That's different, isn't it? The mental gears started to grind. You had to focus. Maybe you even squinted a little bit. That's a totally different kind of thinking kicking in. That feeling, that switch from super easy to, I have to think, that's the whole story of your brain right there. It's the daily drama between the two systems that are constantly running the show inside your head. So first up, let's meet the real star of the show, the one that's in charge, about 95% of the time. This is your brain's autopilot. We call this System 1. Think of it as your impulsive hero. This guy is always on. It's constantly scanning your world, making instant connections, spitting out gut feelings and first impressions. It works so smoothly, so automatically, that most of the time, you don't even know what's happening. And you're using it all day long. It's how you can instantly tell someone's angry just by the look on their face. It's what lets you drive a familiar route home while you're totally lost in a conversation. It's this incredible pattern-matching machine that makes life feel, fluent. But there's a catch. It has a really bad habit of jumping to conclusions. But here's the thing. System 1 doesn't work alone. It's got a partner, a co-pilot who is way more careful, way more deliberate, but, let's be honest, also way, way lazier. And this is System 2, our lazy detective. This is the part of your brain that you just engaged to try and solve 17 times 24. It's the heavy lifter. It handles logic, deep analysis, complex planning, all the hard stuff. It's super powerful, but man, it takes real, conscious effort to get it to wake up and get on the case. This little breakdown here really puts it all in perspective. You've got the hero, fast, intuitive, automatic, then the detective, slow, deliberate, effortful. But the most important part is that energy row. System 1 is just always on, it costs almost nothing. But System 2, it's got a limited battery and it gets tired fast. So here's how it usually plays out. The hero shouts out a quick, easy answer, and the detective, whose job is to double-check the work, often just goes, "Yep, sounds good to me," and rubber stamps it to save energy. And that really gets to the heart of it. Attention is a limited mental resource. It's not an infinite well. Unlike System 1, which just chugs along all day, your deep-thinking System 2 is running on a very tight budget. Every single time you focus, use logic, or even just exert a little self-control, you're making a withdrawal from that account. And this isn't just some vague feeling, It's a real physical thing. When you fire up System 2, your body literally responds. Your pupils dilate, your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure rises. It's a biological cost. This is exactly why you can't really multitask on two difficult things at once. Your brain's budget can only pay for one big project at a time, and your performance on everything else just collapses. So this leads to the big problem, right? The core conflict of our story. What happens when we rely too much on that fast, but let's face it, pretty flawed autopilot? Well, the issue is that your powerful System 2 is fundamentally lazy. Its main goal is to conserve energy. So its default setting is just to trust whatever System 1 says. It accepts the first story, the easy answer without asking any questions. And that lazy acceptance, that's the breeding ground for so many of our mistakes and biases. This brings us to a really cool idea called ego depletion. Get this, the mental energy you use for self-control is the exact same energy you use for hard, logical thinking. They pull from the same bank account. So resisting the urge to eat a donut and solving a tough math problem are both making withdrawals. When that energy account gets low, your ability to think critically and your willpower both take a nosedive. And this isn't just theory. It has huge, real-world consequences. For example, studies have shown that judges are way more likely to grant parole to prisoners early in the day than later in the afternoon. Why? It's not because the later cases are worse. It's decision fatigue. Their brain is just tired.
After a long day of making tough calls, their system 2 is depleted, and it becomes so much easier to just default to the simplest, safest answer, which is no. And that's the bottom line. When your system 2 is tired, when that lazy detective is basically off the clock, the impulsive, biased system 1 takes over completely. This is when you're most vulnerable. You become more impulsive, you're much more likely to fall back on stereotypes, and you're an easy target for simple explanations that just, feel right, even if they're totally wrong. Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we take back the wheel? How do we wake up that lazy detective and make sure our thoughtful co-pilot is actually awake and engaged when it really, really matters? Let's talk strategy.
First things first, you have to protect your thinking budget. You have to start treating your attention like the precious, limited resource it really is. That means making your big, important decisions when you're rested and fresh, like in the morning. And when the stakes are high, stop multitasking. Seriously, give that one thing your full, undivided attention, no distractions. You also got to learn to spot the warning signs. Think of it like a low fuel light on your mental dashboard. Are you feeling irritable or impatient? Are you tempted to just agree with something to get it over with? Whatever, this seems fine. Have you lost your curiosity? If you're nodding along, that's a huge red flag. It means your system 2 is running on fumes and your autopilot is about to fly you right into a mistake. Now, the crucial point here isn't that system 1 is bad. Not at all. We couldn't get through the day without it. It's our autopilot, and it makes life possible. But system 2 is what makes our thinking correctable. It's the editor, the fact checker. We need them both working together. So, I'll leave you with this to think about. Look back on your week. Can you think of a time when you let your fast, intuitive hero make a call when you probably should have slowed down and brought in the detective? Really thinking about that and understanding that inner tug of war, that's the first step to making smarter decisions in pretty much every part of your life.